So welcome to episode 3 of the Digi Dojo. For those tuning in for the first time, this is where we as our own community here like to come together, talk about everything related to Digimon TCG. Our discussions will kind of take everything into account, including meta discussions, set releases, deck building, regionals, and everything in between. We have our YouTube channel, so we will be posting this on our YouTube channel as well as our Spotify account. Our YouTube is Hyper Coliseum, which is where King Jarrell over here will be uploading matches from locals and everything in terms of content. So link will be in the description below. And yeah, if you're interested, like our content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. It would mean a lot to us as we're trying to grow the channel. So that being said, let's jump into it and let's have a good time. So we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves again. Our 3 hosts, myself, Ben, we've got TJ, Jarrell, and our previous guest has rejoined us, back for more,
Hey,
Mr. RB.
it's me, Arby. Yeah, I've returned. I was the only one who volunteered, so.
Well, thank you for coming back. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So I think let's start it off. This weekend we had a pretty big event in the community. We had our first BT-12 regionals going on. So Jarrell and I participated. I think TJ, you were around to kind of watch pretty much all of Jarrell's matches.
The regional I practiced for but didn't play in. I got my fucking dates mixed up.
It happens to the best of us.
Oh, that's so stupid.
And I think it was an interesting set of results. We're just chatting about all of this before hopping live and just how crazy some of the results are, some of the interesting text that we see in all the decks. So I guess, Jarrell, if you want to start it off and just kind of walk through, what your matchups were, what you played, and how you felt things went.
Yeah, sure. I honestly went through the whole gauntlet, and looking at yours, it's kind of similar, but I mainly went against literally every BT-12 deck that's in the current format right now, besides any of the blue decks, from what I remember. Well, aside from Imperial, my first round was Imperial. Funny enough, I actually went against one of the guys I met at Nats. Shout out to you, Omni. Against one of the guys I met at Nats. My second round was versus Beelzemon. Third round, if any of you were watching Eggman's stream, I threw horribly against Hunters. Fourth round was a loss versus a Mirror. I was playing Red Hybrid, and then my fifth round was a surprising tie against Wargrey. In round 6, I lost against Cross. Round 7, I won against Gallant, and then round 8, I won against Beelzo, which, funny enough, was another guy in the California Discord server that I'm in. I don't know. It's like I said, just going through. I only hit a repeat deck once, which was BLZ, and the rest were just a bunch of different decks, which was super surprising. I was honestly expecting a lot of Beelz and a lot of Cross, which, looking at the results from Eggman's website, that was pretty much the I wouldn't say the overwhelming majority. Beelzemon was what, 1/5 of the decks there, and then
Pretty much, yeah.
and then Hunters was like 70-80 lists.
That's a big portion
Yeah.
of the meta to take up, but it's also, like we talked about before, one of the most accessible decks in Digimon right now, so
Yeah.
Right.
it's not surprising.
To grab.
Yeah, for sure.
A little foreshadowing there, huh, RB? But yeah, looking back at your deck, do you feel like you tweak anything different with your Red Hybrid build? Do you feel like something didn't go as you hoped, or something went better than you hoped?
Reading BT-7 Emperor Greymon. So going back to that blunder on the feature match, I had him at 0 security, and he only had 1 blocker on board. I think it was a King Shout. I had a Flamemon and BT-7 Takuya with 5 sources underneath it. When I decided to go into Emperor Grey, you could see me literally about to drop the BT-7 Emperor Grey to Blitz, but for some reason my mind went, oh, I only get like +2 or 3 memory off this block, and that'll only put him to 1, or like, you know, he had a memory center, so we'll go to 3. In my mind I'm like, but he's just gonna block this and then I'm gonna pass turn. So I went into BT-12 Emperor Grey and said to pop his blocker, not knowing that you get 1 memory for each hybrid in the sources, and then he unsuspends so you can swing again. I think that was the biggest throw of my life after throwing with Jesmon in the regional.
Oh man.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it was funny to watch because me and Goldie were sitting in Discord, we were watching your stream, and we're just like, okay, yeah, he's got this. Yeah, he's looking at it, and then you took the card, you put it behind the rest of your hand, and we're just like, no. No, you're right there. You're right there. Just Digibulb. You have it. You're done. You don't have to go back into the trenches, son. You're out of the war. You can go home.
Oh my god.
That stream debuff.
I mean, that player did pretty well. So.
And then the best part was that you had game again later on down the line too, and then again you were just like, no, I don't think I will. So it's like, oh no.
What do you mean card game players don't read their cards? We just know what they do.
That's true.
Like me. I don't read my cards. I didn't know that Asta couldn't Digivolve over my entire deck.
Well, I can't see that the rest of Digimon has Rush after having 2 cards and sources in.
I don't think you could hear the player audio because I think Eggman's stream is like muted for the commentators. But like the guys that were on my stream, like you could hear the judge literally came in twice, and I swear to God, I think that judge literally tried to save me from losing the game 2 times, and I kept like just ignoring and fumbling the bag. Because the first time was he tried going into Astamon over Shoutmon King, which is you can't go Astamon over red.
Yeah,
and then
is only purple, green, or yellow.
Yeah, and then the second time was he tried going into Quartz, or he went into Asta, tried to play out a level 4, and then went into Quartz, and turns out you can only do one or the other. If you have the 4 sources, you can only go into Quartz and not play out a level 4. Which he tried to play out a Shoutmon King for a Taiki to get more sources or like more things suspended on board.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you have to complete, even if that were the case, the Shoutmon King wouldn't play the Taiki until after you resolve the entirety of Asta's effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, either way, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
You still had a hell of a show, man. You still did pretty good. I mean, you know, it's a few things where it's like, now you know.
And we do this to practice, like.
Yeah.
I mean, the next regional I'm probably playing will be BT-13 because I'm busy for like the next like month and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
How about you, Ben? How was your regionals run?
I played Merva Cross, which I was actually surprised that. I mean, I was sort of surprised and not surprised at the same time that there were only 12, I think, total decks of Cross combined with Merva and X7. So I thought it would be a bit more represented, but at the same time, I mean, I had fun with the deck when it went off. I think this was the baddest or the worst I've bricked with the deck by far. My rounds were at first pretty interesting. I kicked it off with a Grandest Quartz, which I was not expecting to see at all when he went into the Quartz off of that. I was like, oh boy, had me shook. And he just ran right through me. Then I ran into the Mirror, which is fun and interesting. And then after that, it was just the gauntlet of Bielsa, Wargrave, which, you know, I think I was able to navigate some of them. Did casino deck things with Bielsa and was best deck in the format. So, I mean, I can't complain. The people I played were overall pretty nice. Had a good time just practicing, learning stuff about the deck and learning about my deck as well. So I can't really complain. You know, I think we just take this in stride and keep going forward with it.
Next time you
Nice.
Blue Flare Kaiser Nail Cross 7.
No. We're going Gabu Bond.
Like what Mike did today when he played 2 cross sevens off of 2 Kaiser nails. Or
Oh
whatever.
my god.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting too that you actually got the mirror because there was only 12 of you, which is kind of wild that you actually hit the mirror. The odds of that are very very unlikely.
I played Merva Cross and did not Merva a single time the entire 8 rounds.
Really?
Which I thought was just like
that's insane. That is
bonga.
insane, bro.
Yeah. I would cross Merva, but every single time I played Merva, it was to pass turn. Like I was never able to Merva rush once.
Yep.
I would hit like Gravity Crush either on like Taikis or like the X3 search, and it was just like painful.
They're just going everywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, it happens, right? I mean, that's card games for you.
Yeah, that's the duality of the deck. You see the Merva and you win. Sometimes you just win on turn 2.
Yeah.
Right, and then
Yeah, like when you your second turn, I had 0 security, and we played that one game. I was like, "What the hell happened to me?" I was gonna say, I think the thing with why there's less cross too, if you think about it, Hunter's the second most represented deck. It's at 70 at 70 people that are running Hunters. Probably a lot of people jumped from cross and hopped on the Hunter bandwagon because it's still a save deck. It's still has that sort of similar mechanic there, even though the deck I feel like is way less intuitive and plays very differently, and it has much more reward for higher skill play. But I'm guessing that's probably why there was less cross, because people were just hopping on the Hunter train, because it's still a very affordable deck, right? It's super easy to pick up. You get pretty much everything you need out of like 2 boxes almost, save for like some superior modes and maybe a quartz or 2. And then that would also make sense why, I mean, the superior modes were like $10 for the regular art for so long, because probably so many Hunters player were like, or cross players were like, I need to switch to Hunters, I need to switch to Hunters.
Yeah.
I salute the people who could play Hunters all 8 rounds in a row, because that deck takes so much thinking. The guy that I played the feature match in round 3, he ended up 9th, which is honestly super impressive.
Yeah. The deck rewards you really hard when you can play it and make the optimal plays. But...
Yeah.
I mean, to that vein too, though, right? Like, it also will punish you for making the suboptimal play.
It'll punish you hard.
So
sometimes you're just stuck with 3 Tamers in hand and no Digimon to do anything with.
Yeah, the resource management for that deck is very, very intensive. You really have to be thinking about like 2 or 3 turns ahead and how optimal your current play is in terms of regards to like keeping hand size while still maintaining aggression.
Right.
It gets crazy.
I'm not big brain enough for that. But as a spectator, DJ, any thoughts from your end?
Oh, as a spectator, because I watched with my buddy Goldie all day. We watched Jarrell's stream. We watched Eggman stream whenever Jarrell's rounds ended, or just we'd flop back and forth. It was first thing I noticed is that I didn't see that many mirror matches, which I was kind of a little bit surprised, which makes me happy, because I think that means that like, and even just looking from like how many lists there were, like the 4 top lists that are being played are all stuff that's like, or stuff that got boosted or is from this new set. And I think that's really cool, because it just shows that this set wasn't just like, okay, here's the true king that is going to do everything. Now, yes, like Beelzemon X took it. Yes, Beelzemon's a big threat. But as someone who is a Beelzemon like main, who plays the hell out of that deck can absolutely get steamrolled, because its biggest issue sometimes is finding its mid pieces. You can find the imps, no problem. You can find your high end, no problem. The hardest part is making sure you have little 4s and 5s in hand to make sure that you actually have plays to go up. And so, yeah, it's cool, because I enjoy the fact that it seems like so many decks are competitive out of this set, which I feel like for previous sets we maybe see like 1 or 2. And there's always usually one that's just like the big thing that just trumps everything else, and the other decks like maybe a little bit of support. But this set, it feels like every deck that came out of this box either the support it gets just makes it so it's at least it's some sort of viable. It may not be, you know, amazing tier 1, but it's some sort of viable for sure. So that was a really cool part of watching everything, was just seeing all the matchups and seeing how everything played out, because I feel like some of the matchups in this current set are very interesting, and then others are very rock paper scissors, where it's just like, if you play against this deck, you probably just lost the game, because they're just going to fucking take your head and just give you a swirly, and you're not going to be able to come up fair anytime soon. But yeah, no, I think that was about it. I'm still kicking myself because I got my dates crossed. I'm signed up for the 27th and not for the this one, or you know, the 13th.
More practice. More practice time.
Yeah. Well, I practiced Beelzemon all week so much. I hated myself all
You
week.
stayed out till like 3 a.m.
Yes, because of how much Beelzemon I was playing.
Round
I'm
2,
ready,
baby.
let's go. And then I click on the link to look at it, and I'm just like, I'm gonna register my deck, and then I look and see, and I'm like, 27th. That can't be right. I'm tired. There's no way. Ain't no way. I should reload it and then check it again.
You ready to do it again next week?
No. No. I've played plenty of Beelzemon. I'm ready. Just let me get there. Oh man, we're gonna have the next like podcast. I'm gonna like just go 0-3 and drop out, and it'll be like, oh, I wasn't ready. I lied. I wasn't ready, guys. I thought I was. Nah. Not me.
But I mean, I think to go back to your point though about, you know, I do feel like this is probably the most diverse set we've had in a while. And I think I agree 100%. I mean, the support we've had for a lot of decks is out there, you know, I mean, it's fun. I feel like this was a nice, refreshing sort of like burst of energy for the game, you know? It doesn't feel as stale as seeing 1 or 2 decks all the time. I think you could easily walk into like a locals, right? And like pretty much be surprised by most decks that are out there right now. You know, like I don't think you have to play a certain deck to do well at locals or, you know, an online event or whatever. Like you're gonna see a lot of diversity, which I think is great.
Yeah. And then, you know, with that on mind too, like looking forward to, like I think meta will probably keep being pretty diverse into EX4 and BT-13 with some of the stuff we get, just considering like how it supports older decks and new decks that come along, and how well these current decks I think hold up going into those sets. Yeah, it's cool beans.
You know, and I think a lot of people, I mean, we're card game players, right? So we're very reactionary. You know, everybody's seeing, you know, Bielsa is like what, nearly half represented and half a top cut. So it's like everybody's like, we gotta hit it, we gotta ban it, blah blah blah. But like, I mean,
you have to remember this is the first regional, and it's one of the strongest and again most accessible deck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why spend however much it costs to optimize Black War, grabbing these Agumons that cost like $10 a piece? You can just, you know.
And the thing is too that I think people need to keep in mind is how heavily it was represented, right? Like what you were saying, like it was a fifth of basically of decks represented almost, or actually no, it was almost based off the pie chart from Eggman's thing. It looks like it's a quarter almost, but like when you have 118 of a deck playing in a regional, it's most likely going to have a pretty high amount of placements of that deck in the tops. Because, I mean, one, it is a good deck, yes, but also just because of how much it was represented. But you have to think, out of those 8 people that made it to the top 16, there was 110 people that didn't get there. Right? So I think that goes to show just how also beatable the deck is. Because there's so many, like if it was all, like say there was 8 Beelzemons that were played and there was 8 in the top 16, then yeah, probably something wrong with the deck. Like if every list if the top 16 was entirely Beelzemon, then that'd be scary. Of it being half, you know, we'll have to see how the meta develops moving forward. I don't think it'll stay that popular. I think people will learn the matchup. I think we'll see people that will try to text specific cards for it. Beelzemon definitely does have its struggles. But I think people need to just, you know, relax, cool a little bit. We'll see what happens. There's no need to just jump to week 1 Be like, oh my god.
I'm gonna do that tech, the Magidramon tech.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Magidramon's a good tech against it.
My level 5s are purple and red. So
I want creepy. I want to hear creepy for game at least.
Creepy's also a really good tech.
Yeah.
Because it's a demon lord, so you can grab it off of stuff with like,
did you want to rest Dramon?
But yeah, there's definitely ways around the deck. People will learn the matchup, and eventually it'll see less representation because people will either grow tired of the deck, or B, will just not realize that they don't know how to play it. or C, they'll just there'll be so many people teching against it that they'll just be like, I don't want to bother with this anymore.
Sure.
Because they'll just feel like they don't want to play the counter matchup.
I mean, we're talking about techs right now too. You know, I think we're just reviewing some of the top deck lists before we hopped on too, and you know, I think we saw pretty much standard BLZ decks, but were there any decks outside of the BLZ decks that we saw that surprised you guys for the top 16? Like anything that was just like, oh, did not expect to see that.
Is this alluding to yellow hybrid being the one?
Yellow hybrid being out there is insane.
So shout out to whoever did that. Mad lad.
Coleman, Amos.
I was telling the California locals this, but I salute the one guy who keeps the SecCon dream alive. It might not be the same person every time, but there's always one SecCon top.
There's always one.
Somebody gatekeeping the price of Magna Angela.
Dude, they, I swear they're a hive mind, and they just had one representative out every time to just win.
We are SecCon for we are many. The other the yellow hybrid, because the yellow hybrid list is pretty standard. Like it's not. I don't even think it runs any cards from this new set.
No, it's your Rise Gray package, right? Your Rapidmon package and your Tamers.
Basically just a BT-11 deck. And somehow just like crawled its way up through the ashes.
Yeah, we can test it. We can test it out.
We can test it. It's not going to work for us.
Probably not. But
that person has some sort of magic touch with that deck. That's just like they're drawing hot. Interesting text. That Black Gray X running the Magidramon. the BT-5 Magidramon.
Yeah, the second player is also playing the BT-5 Magidramon as well.
Yeah, which would make sense.
SecCon's like, it digivolves over purple. Blackware's like, this can digivolve over red? Hold on.
How many cards left in deck? I got 3.
Magidra.
I guess that I'm gonna throw it in Hunters for the tech.
It's honestly, yeah, it's not bad.
Turning Omnishout into Magidra, turning Superior Mode into Magidra.
It actually, I didn't think about that. It works off of both of your.
It works off both.
Yeah.
All 3 level 5s actually.
True.
Yeah. I could put that fucker in a cross too.
Yeah, you could.
No, okay, we can't do this, guys. Come on.
Let's go.
Okay? I play Beelzemon. You don't have to do this to me. Just let me still walk in the sun for a little bit longer, okay?
Listen, you got a month before Magidra Mill hits, all right?
Yeah.
I'm so excited though. Magidra Mill looks so fun. That looks so fun. I can't wait to watch Dan play that deck because he loves mill decks.
Oh my god.
Specifically milling his opponent. Oh, what other weird techs were there? I think the Hunter lists were pretty standard.
Hunter list is pretty standard.
Yeah.
I mean, putting in the a lot of the is a choice.
Yeah. The War Greymon list actually though, not running any War Grey X and just running War Greys and just completely abandoning that aspect of the deck. I mean, it's not bad.
I mean maybe it's what helped them against.
I think there was an online like pre-regionals tournament too, and someone, I don't think they won it, but I think it was like top 4 or something, where they did the exact same thing where they just took out the War Grey X and went Unga Bunga and just went for it. You know, I think they ran like 2 ties probably, and then they're like BT-1 War Greys and just went for it, which, I mean, it works.
Yeah, I might try that. I kind of like that idea. I think
you can also just run Magidra.
Yeah, true. True, just run Magidra. Let's just see Magidramon decks now. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Just Magidramon. Every other deck, insufficient. We need Magidramon, and then we just play Beelzemon for like 8 rounds in a row. Done.
And maybe one of these 14 gallons could have made it up here if they just ran the
True. I'm sure some of them teched it in.
Yeah.
I'm almost willing to guarantee. I'm surprised Machine didn't get top 16. I'm surprised we didn't see at least one up there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
When a Machine builds that wall, it is so painful to try and get through with Beelzemon unless you have like the perfect setup going to get past it.
How many Machine decks were there?
25.
There's 25, so that's why I'm like,
I just got outrushed by hybrids, red hybrid.
I mean, Hunter. I guess Hunter probably just kind of such the deck out.
Hunter
Or
laughs and
Hunter's
puts your machine
Yeah.
under your analog man and says sit on that.
Unless they see their Mega Dramon like
Literally.
first hand every game. Yeah, I guess they don't really do too much. And then I think everything else, the Beelzemon lists were all pretty standard. The hybrid lists were all pretty standard, I think, for the most part. So say for a few maybe option choices. The people that run only 3 Death Slingers are insane. And I don't know how you make a deck work. I feel like 4 is not enough. I feel like I would much rather have 10. Just to make sure. Just to make sure.
Careful, you got a judge here.
Judge.
Yeah, official Bandai judge.
Life update. I am now a registered judge for Bandai. For Digimon. So that's fun.
Woo! But yeah.
But I think this in mind, right? I mean, we talked a lot about text and like what we see, and we're like Magidra, right? I mean, like, are there any decks that you guys feel like could sneak in as people start to say like, okay, Beelzem's the big guy? How do we prep for like anything stand out right now in terms of a potential sleeper counter?
D-Reaper if it faces literally every Beelzemon deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Beelzemon just can't. Well, okay, so here's the thing. If Beelzemon's fast enough before they get the gatekeeper on board with all the sources under the mother, then they win. Which, I mean, more often than not, they're probably going to be able to do that. But the fact that Beelzemon literally just cannot do anything to any D-Reaper card, basically save for swinging over it if it's suspended, yeah, like their goose is pretty cooked on that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some people try to do some weird tech with D-Reaper. That's a really good one to bring up, Drill. I think it's rough for D-Reaper at the same time though, because now that we have Gallant and Wargrey with Raid,
That Gallant hurts.
Mother, yeah. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. I played that matchup D-Reaper versus Gallant, and you can't even get like. You basically just start losing your hand because you're forced into a situation where you pretty much just have to put your searchers just straight under the mother from hand instead of being able to play them and then do stuff for certain things. Because if you play them and pass turn with it and it's left on board, it's gone. You're not seeing it again. But I do think that we'll probably see some people try to get spicy with that. I'm willing to bet there was at least 1 or 2 in the regional. I think if All Force keeps losing and Rena's price goes down and the deck becomes more accessible, I think we'll see a surge in All Force, because I do think All Force is still very good this format. It's just a very, very... It needs to train, right? Like it needs to be just kind of hitting cards pretty well off top deck and have a pretty good solid opening hand. But with mulligans and how much draw engine or draw power that deck has, it's totally doable. And
it does feel bad though, as we've seen in some of our practice matches, I think too, where if you just hit our rivals,
yeah. If you don't have the Reina to give you evade, yeah.
Right. But no, I think All Force, I was surprised we didn't see it especially after what it did at the end of BT-11, where I think you had sort of like 2 back-to-back regionals where All Force was consistently like right there. I was surprised, but I guess speaking of accessible cards and accessibility, next topic we did want to touch upon was just accessible cards, right? You know, we do have a reprint set coming in the horizons, I think sometime in the fall, around like September, October. where, for those who don't know about it, Bandai is going to be reprinting a lot of core cards that are staple in a lot of decks that are not printed anymore and not in circulation. So a lot of these cards are up in price. They do serve as sort of like a price gate in terms of getting newer players into the game or making decks a little bit more out of the price range. So I think Rena was definitely one that has been talked about as of late, due to just how crazy expensive it is and how necessary a playset is for the All Force deck in and of itself. I think Starter Deck Greymon, right, was definitely one in the past that has been, up until the recent reprints of it, where it's been sort of just pooped out everywhere. It was sort of that red boogie card where, like, if you wanted to play red and wanted to be competitive, like, you needed a playset of them, and the playset of them would cost you probably close to $100 just for 4 cards, right? And then you had to build the rest of the deck on top of that. So any other cards that stand out to you guys, or any cards that you feel like Bandai should be like, hey, we're reprinting a lot of TP promos or winter promos, like, they should be included?
I think it's a lot of just as sets get older and older, a lot of the cards that become core, like we're seeing a huge spike in, like, Agumon X Antibody. An uncommon is a $3 card. Things from BT-9 are seeing a pretty big spike in their price, just because they're always used, because X Antibody is kind of a broken mechanic, just digivolting, putting more sources on top of things for cycling, for free memory. But and things like that. Just as sets get older, maybe like Bandai should probably keep an eye on that, because you're gonna see less and less of it in the market.
Yeah. The reprint booster we have coming, the Rising Wind, that only has cards from BT-1 to BT-5, correct? Reprints, I'm pretty sure.
I believe so, and a bunch of promos.
And then there's the 36 new types of cards, which are all Ghost Game focused, along with a few promo reprints.
No Kaiser reprint yet, no.
No Kaiser reprint, no, not yet. Which for people, I believe that comes out, it was supposed to come out in August, but I think it got delayed till September because Bandai was trying to only give us they basically weren't going to give us reprints. They were going to initially just give us those 36 new cards.
Nope.
And people were just like, huh? You realize our market we still need those cards too, bruh? What do you mean? And
it's Japan was getting everything. And they just changed it completely so that the English release would just nix those cards. Basically.
Yeah, they were just going to take those cards out of the set entirely for us. So when you bought a pack, there's only 36 card types you're going to be able to hit in those packs.
The other thing was too is like they were going to give us the reprints, but they were going to be in like those like adventure boxes that we would get at the big box stores.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, forgot about that. I forgot about that.
As somebody who bought a decent amount of those, you don't get a whole lot. So
and it's paying
$30 for like a one-of card. Imagine you just get like a BT-1 Demi-Marillon.
What was it, BT-10, where the box topper was the ST-11 reprints?
Yeah.
Which was like, come on, man. Like, just give us the deck.
Like, they gave it was supposed to be, like, Japan got reprints, a deck box, like, they actually got tangible items.
Do you remember when they gave Japan that ST-11 deck?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's just,
but yeah, so
like that.
From what I'm looking at, I believe it comes out September 29th now, so that'll have a bunch of reprints. And I will say, out to Bandai's credit, they did hit pretty much every card that needed a reprint out of sets 1 through 5.
Right.
Like, if there's a card that has any value moving forward into the game or in the current state of the game, they hit it. Like, those cards are getting reprinted. So that'll be a very good time for new players to get in. and get access to those.
And they did listen to the fan base, and the players. We did raise a storm, and they did listen, and they did backtrack. So, but I guess, do you feel like, I know it's a sensitive topic too amongst the community, but I mean, something about a set rotation, right? What do you guys think about that?
I feel like that's what I don't know. With BT-14, because of how they're revamping how they print the cards, right? For example, we have the, in regards to like accessibility and stuff, we have colorblind stuff. They're gonna have certain notches that are colored now to represent a different color, so that way people that are colorblind can tell which is which. Yeah. They're trying to simplify certain things, so instead of having like 2 bubbles that are different colors, they're gonna have 1 bubble that's a split color if it can go into one or the other. They're changing just how the cards are looked. Eggs now have like a little like egg bubble in their top left corner, I believe, or top right. I can't remember. It's one of those two. The ruling thing now too, instead of just being the black box text, there's a specific little like spot like in the effect that says rule. This card always counts, because we saw with the Sukumon reveals that just happened last night, I believe. Where now it specifically says rule. This card is always always treated as Sukumon. Or also treated as Sukumon in trash, I think, or something like that. But yeah, I'm wondering if we are gearing up to see something like that, not too like far down the future. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, because I think the thing is right now, so many decks run older cards still. Right. We know they have the set blocks that are set up. But I don't know. I imagine we probably wouldn't see anything like that until we're at least like 20 BTs in. Once we're like BT-20, then I imagine we'd probably start seeing it after that. Because I feel like that's a good point where they would probably be like, okay, so stuff from this, like, there should be enough stuff out at that point where they could cut a certain point off. Sure. And be like, okay, this stuff is out now. We want you guys to use this new stuff.
Yeah.
I'm curious because like I'm looking at the reveal cards right now for BT-14. Aside from them cleaning up the card looks, this is going to be the start of Block 3. I wonder if they're going to use the reprint sets as a way to like reprint the more commonly used cards. Like when we were saying for RB1, they're reprinting a lot of the stuff from BT1 through 3, and it's like the memory tamer is like more of the essential stuff, but also stuff that isn't like crazy high in power. So I'm really curious, like if once we see like BT-14 or 15 and then like EX5, I wonder if they'll cut everything from Block 1 out and just start moving on, and then like keep Blocks 2 and 3, and then once Block 4 gets started, cut Block 2 out, because by then we'll probably also have a couple of reprints that's in.
The reprints are all marked with block. Are they Block 1 or Block 2?
I think they're... Let me double check. I think they're...
I can't remember. Oh, it probably says it right here, actually.
I was just looking at them.
Block 2.
Yeah, there are 2.
So Magic for a long time.
Because so BTs 1 through 5 don't have a block number.
No.
And then it was BT6 that we started getting the block numbers. So I wonder if they're gonna do the reprint set and they're gonna cut out everything from BT 1 through 5 and be like, okay, you have to use a card that has block numbers 1, 2, or 3 on it. And then as we move forward, then they'll do like what you're saying, where they'll cut out block 1, and then it'll be like 2 or 3, and then maybe like, you know, moving forward, whatever, yada yada.
Because there's also stuff from the older stuff that's like, they have like 1 attacking effects, but it's not like the official 1 attacking keyword.
Yeah,
right,
true.
Oh, right.
Just like,
I
you know,
will say,
just refining like the grammar for the game, you know?
Yeah, keywords, effects, just making sure everything is a lot more clean and accurate, assuming they can get their translations correct.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they didn't just translate Yuamano every time he's getting.
In a perfect world. The interesting thing I think with that too, Godspeed Drill, because Jessmon's just gone then at that point. You know, once we see.
That's okay. I'll run the starter deck in the new line. That's fine. I don't need the old stuff, even though the BT6 searcher is still goated.
You'll need to revamp that guide to white women.
Shout out to BB Dudes, a fucking amazing video. Oh my god,
shit.
that video is so good.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of neat stuff they're doing moving forward. I really want to see how the Ace card stuff ends up working out too.
Yeah, I think.
Anyways.
I think the Ace stuff is going to be interesting because Digimon's kind of missing that like player interaction. In some matches, where the opponent just doesn't have a way to react to anything. So seeing the Ace Digivolve over something kind of like an instant or a trap card, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
They still basically have to pay a memory cost. Once it's gone, it costs you like 3 memory. I think were the most recent Ace reveals.
Yeah.
If it leaves Comrade, if we keep that thing on board, we never have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah, because if we know Digimon, it's things stay on board.
Hey man, sometimes those motherfuckers can be sticky. They don't get off that board. It's like glue.
Yeah, we also need to remember that Ace or what is it? Kind of the blast evolutions. Those can only affect, or those only proc on when attacking.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
correct.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I mean, I think it's definitely interesting, right? There's a lot of ways this could play out, and I think it does show that the game is growing, right? And I think, like Jarrell said too, like just the game has grown to a point now where we do have to clean up the cards a little bit. We do have to clean up the mechanics a little bit, and there are some cards that are just out of date, right? Which just make them somewhat unplayable to a degree, just because the ruling is so vague on it, or the wording just quite isn't up to date. So, I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of the set rotation, but at the same time, I personally do see positives in it if it were to be the case.
I think it's going to depend on community reception of it.
Yeah.
Set rotation has gotten less and less popular across card games as time has gone on. Standard used to be the most popular set for Magic or most popular format for Magic, and now it doesn't see the numbers that Commander sees or like Modern.
Yeah.
People like playing with their older cards. I think Digimon has enough cards where, like, if they do set rotation, like you said, if the reprint booster is what they chose to keep, a lot of those cards are very good choices to keep. But again, gauge the community reception to it, and hopefully Bandai doesn't screw it up.
I mean, it also brings up the fact that, like, if they do end up doing a set rotation, are they going to bring alternate formats into the game that aren't just current set, and then like kind of like Modern, where you have like Vanguard's premium, where it's literally every card in the game.
Yeah.
So it definitely depends on how they handle it.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is it also depends on what we have released moving up to that decision. Because it like the jokes aside, like the Jesmod things, like some decks are still completely built out of things from block 1 or no block. Like there's a lot of older cards that are still very, very popular in usage, and of course we could see reprints that will have the updated block number so that they're used in future sets. But it will be. I think that the best way that it goes over is if like certain Digimon archetypes, because the game's so archetypal in nature. I think that's a word. Archetype. You know what I mean. So you run the risk of certain decks just getting like Thanos snapped, and they're just gone. So that's the other big thing too. Even aside from community reception and how they handle it, it's about what we see released moving up to it, which, Bagra. Dear God, please. Let me use these fucking D-bags.
I heard you wanted a new Greymon starter.
Yeah.
Listen.
He's gonna digivolve into whatever the other Greymon is. The one with gun hands.
I don't want to play Greymon card game no more. I don't want to do it no more.
What if you play Guru on card game? Would you be okay with that?
Ben would be. I don't know about me. The wolf likes to bite. Just make it husbando. Keep it be a husbando right now. I'm fine with it. Let BLs just run free. I want to see more Demon Lords. Anyway, sorry. Getting distracted.
Well, I guess speaking of cards we want to see more of, or we may not have appreciated as much, I think another thing that we're trying to do is to kind of do a little segment. I think we've been talking about different things like art and, artists and stuff like that. But I think this week we wanted to try out something where we talk about, people or Digimon that have not been appreciated to what they deserve. Or as TJ likes to say, God gave the hardest battles to his greatest of soldiers.
Yes.
The ones that have put in the most work for us over the sets and over the metas, but just have never gotten that glorified shout out.
Digimon?
Armadillo Armors, let's go. He's literally has like 90% of the word in his name. Let him run.
Yeah.
So why don't you give it a go, TJ?
Oh man, you want me to go first? All right, let me just.
Who's your greatest soldier?
Greatest soldier, the one that deserves the most.
Darkness Bagramon.
No. All right, this is. I just made the joke. We don't need to go back to it. I don't have 4 of them. They don't exist. I didn't pull them.
I can give you another one if you want.
No. What I want, and this is probably the most genuine thing that I really, really, really want to fucking see is Dianamon and Apollomon. People have been wanting those for so long. They are the mascots from Digimon World Dusk and Digimon World Dawn. Fantastic DS games, by the way, if you haven't played them.
I played Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah, Digimon
did it first. Digimon did it first. Okay, shut up. let me have this. But no, actually though, let's see. We did have leaks. Because we wanted to think. Well, okay, so hold on. Those for sure. Those are probably the biggest ones, I think. And I think that's not even I feel like I just see that from the community so much. There are so many people that want those cards or want a Dusk and Dawn featured focus set. Which agree 100%. Second thing, I want us to see the rest of the Demon Lords. I know they're coming, but I want to see the rest of the Demon Lords already. I want to see those. Small thing. Tyrannomon. He always needs more love. He needs to be the best deck. He needs to be tier 1, tier 0, actually. Just tier 0.
Tier 0.
Give me a tier 0 Metal Tyrannomon that has security tech +5.
Yeah. Tier 0, Tiger gives this Digimon will not be affected by anything. And also he checks 5 security. And also he kills you.
When you evolve into this, you win the game. This is our Exodia. The other thing I was gonna say, it's left me. Someone else go. It'll come back to me later.
How about you, Arby?
Me? I mean, speaking of video games, I'd like to see, some of the Digimon from the Cyber Sleuth in there. What was it? Vespa
Tiger.
Or Tiger Vespamon?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is why we haven't seen that card, because that card, Digimon's
Tiger Vespamon would be really cool.
I remember reading.
Unfortunately, I think that would also bring in slight spoilers, a new Alphamon and an Omnimon. I'm sorry.
We'll get
that's
a D-Reaper's mirror. It'll be eaters.
Yeah, the Eaters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember reading a Reddit post months ago, the Eaters could be an interesting white deck like D-Reaper is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It could be something that plays with Diaboro and Errata too, because they could be unknown.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
How about you, Jiro?
Being the Terriermon stan I am, I want more Gargomon support.
Yeah, Gargo and Sakuya could both use it. I mean, Galaxy's funny, but
give me BioWorld equivalents for Gargo and Sakuya, and I'd actually It's like I know we got the support in EX2, and we're getting a little bit of support. It's like half support in EX4. I'm mad because I can't net deck any Black Gargomon or Kuzuhamon lists because nobody plays them. But I'll find a way. Let me get a Digimon Rumble Arena focus set with Reapermon because he only has one card in the game.
True.
But like some of the power-ups from that game would be cool to see as like option cards, like how the plugins are.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing really. Oh yeah. Man, when are we getting Sistermon Noir? Please, I just want the card in English. That's it. That's all.
Give us our nuns with guns. That's what we want.
Nuns
We
with
earned
guns.
it. I remember what I was gonna say. Which was Sovereigns, which I know we're seeing it. Which this is like something just as a side thing that I'm really excited because we got that leak for EX5 and Animal Coliseum. I think is actually what it's called.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or Beast Coliseum or something like that. I can't remember. Anyways, it's supposed.
Hypercoliseum.
I don't know, man. But anyways, it's supposed to be it's supposed to have a whole like focus on Sovereign Digimon, which is awesome because I love the 4 Sovereign Digimon. They're so fucking cool.
Give the Firebird a purpose.
Hell yeah, dude. Give it to us.
The useless Firebird SR for what was it, BT-8? 9?
Yeah. Ibabumon sees play. What are you talking about?
Who's the only like? I mean, like Azulong was good in Blue Hybrid when Blue Hybrid was still running rampant, but otherwise, Baihu's the only one that's probably even still relevant. Ebenwu, and Zuzhou were always just terrible, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can even argue that Azulong just didn't even see. It saw it like play as a one-of card that Blue Hybrid, the Blue Hybrid used if the time was right. Like,
and and to be fair to those cards, the cards actually I think all are really strong cards. Yeah. They don't have decks that work with them.
No,
is more the issue because because the line that they got printed in, their line was just vanillas.
Yeah.
So it was just like, what do? It was not great.
I mean, with regards to future sets in mind, I am excited to see where the rest of BT-14 takes us because it's supposed to be adventure focused. Yeah. And a lot of people are hoping that. I mean, we've already seen it with Lilymones and Zunomones, like the other adventure kids that have like underrepresented. That
4TK is just like Magna Angemon.
Like jokes about Forever Greymon or Garurumon card game. At least like I am excited to see where they take the rest of the BT-14 set as spoilers go on.
At least Angemon sees play in like a Mastodon.
Well, we do have the new Magna Anja Ace card that got revealed. To be fair, a while back, so that'll and now I think its effects were decent, but I can't remember what the fuck it did for life me. But I remember looking at it and going, "Oh, cool."
It was literally like BT1 Magna Angemon on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think what other stuff we would like to see. I'm trying to think stuff from like Survive. It'd be cool to see, like, because Survive did pretty well. Survive was a pretty popular Digimon game. It'd be cool to see a set. I'd like to honestly just see more sets that are focused on the games and less on the anime. I guess in general.
Seeing the Survive Tamers would be cool.
Yeah, we still have Ghost Game. For speaking of anime, we still have Ghost Game that like sees support occasionally, but every time they do it, it's just not enough.
I mean, I think with the RB set, I know Seriousmon's pretty decent. He's not a bad. The Digimon deck is not bad. It can perform. Dirabit and Tesla Jelly or no Amphi, sorry.
Yeah.
I think that they are good cards to what we see. I think it's just their play styles are still very linear. Yeah. So it's very dependent on certain things.
Yeah. Give me more Hexablow, man.
True.
I want more Hexablow.
True though. Oh, On the note of that too, sorry, this is not on the note of that at all. It just made me think of other cards that I was thinking of, like less popular Digimon as well. But Hexaball, yes, definitely more support. Banchos.
Yes.
Let us see some actual Bancho decks, dude. Like that would be amazing to see.
You aren't happy with a bunch of them just being vanilla?
Vanilla, like just shit cards.
Yeah.
I really gotta wonder what their thought process was for this pre-release. Hey, let's give them Bancho Stingmon. That'll be good, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they
A
were
card
thinking the Imperial
completely
stuff.
unrelated to the set.
But the like Banchos, I want to see Banchos, and I want to see I want us to see an actual good like Leomon deck in general. Like I want to
Leo
see
Tribal.
Exactly. I want to see a Saber Leo that can work with like the green blue Leos that we have right now. That's like a good Saber Leo that, you know, just runs with the whole idea of the deck, where it's like wants to be deleted in battle to like gain memory or have other effects pop off and spit bodies out.
If I face against you, am I allowed to bring a hole puncher?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Do Leomon like they did Run Goku. Hell yeah. The donut man. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Actually, I want to see more support for Alpha. No, I'm kidding.
Get out of here.
Let's see. I want to see like better like Dynasmon support too, like other Royal Knight support, I guess, that works with some of the older stuff. I think a little bit.
But you aren't
like-
excited for Yggdrasil.deck?
I mean, Yggdrasil deck is gonna be very fun. Don't get me wrong, but like, only half of the Royal Knights actually work within their own like archetype. The other half are just like, me purple now. And then there's no, and then like me work with Lucimon. And there's no new Lucimon to fucking work with them. And it's just like,
Oh, we got Satan mode.
but why, dude? Oh man, the day.
Oh, I
I was
mean-
ready, dude.
It'd be cool to
Ready.
see. It'd be cool to see like a Lucimon deck.
That's what I want to see.
Or like
Today.
seven, what is it, the seven? Is it? It's not the seven deadly sins, is it? Or is
I mean, each one represents. There's 7 demon lords, but they each
Seven
represent a sin.
The 7 Great Demon Lords.
Seeing
So
a
it's
seven,
like-
seven, that's what it is,
see.
7 demon lords. Seeing a 7 demon lords, that could be cool.
Because Lucimon's Pride, Levium. Oh shit, I'm gonna mess this up. Beelzemon's Gluttony, Lilithmon's Lust, Daemon is, or Creepymon is Wrath. I can do this. I can do this. I used to know this so well. Belphamon is Sloth.
Mhm.
Time's
There's
running out.
only. Relax. Oh god, I'm on a timer. Fuck.
This is the $1 million question.
What else? What are the fucking 2 cents I'm forgetting about?
Extremely loud, incorrect buzzer noise.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
meme
You'll
is so
put that.
good.
You'll put that in post, won't you? Make
Maybe.
me cry about it. We'll watch back the thing and be like, man, you really did that to me. I can't remember the last 2 cents, but yeah. Because I know we're missing Leviamon and I can't remember that other freaking guy's name. Oh. About to look it up because I'm sad. Someone else
Right.
bring up cards.
I will throw a pitch in for my guy Tortamon though.
True.
I miss that little guy.
Mm-hmm.
They only have one of that guy, but in Green Gotcha, man, that guy was absolute gas.
I got so many of that fucking card during last set of store champs. I got like 4 Tortamons out of all of my store champ packs. I was like, why do I keep getting this damn turtle?
Do you remember when I kept getting the Grizzlymon every single week for like every week?
The Tortamon's a really cool Digimon though in general, and I would like
Yeah.
to see like more support for him, or like a line for him that maybe works with like Ebonwu or something like that.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. Maybe we'll see a new Tortamon in the EX5. Also, other 2 cents. Leviamon was Envy and Barbamon was Greed. I just couldn't remember.
Okay.
But those are the 2 demon lords we're missing right now is Barba and Levia, and then of course, Lucimon, Shadow Lord, or Satan mode, depending on how you feel about religion. Yeah, we'll have to.
What is this Ogudamon?
I don't actually remember. I think he's like Fusion. Ha! I think. Something like that. All I know is it's a super demon lord of atonement.
Yeah.
That's all I know. But I think he's like the big thing.
Nice. All right.
Anyways.
Well, any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap up?
Don't forget what day your regional is on. Don't forget what day your regional's on. Don't forget what day your regional's on. Don't do it again.
Remember the Astamon can only digivolve over purple, yellow, or green?
I think the
Read your
main,
cards.
I think the only thing is
Read your cards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise,
I'm-
you'll be messed up on cam game.
What's up, Jiro?
Oh no, I was just thinking because no, I should be around because I know I'm gonna be gone for one of these episodes because in the last 2 weeks of June I'm gonna be out on a family trip.
Mhm.
But we get EX4 next month and then we get BT-13 in
July, the following month.
July,
Yeah.
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 And August is a bit of a gray area. September we have the RB, and then October we have BT-14. So we got a busy schedule coming up for card releases and stuff for us to talk about.
For sure.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate any feedback as always. Anything else you want us to talk about? Any, fun small segments like this last ones you guys want to hear or talk about, let us know.
Let us know
Appreciate
if you
y'all.
guys want to see a case opening.
If you
You can arrange
haven't
for that.
if you haven't noticed, the episode length is significantly shorter than the first 2 episodes. We're trying to be better on time.
Yes, we are very, very much so.
We're trying to respect your time.
So again, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate the support and catch you on the flippy flip.
See ya.
Bye.